John for the Comics Pals. We are here live at Wizard World Philadelphia 2017, having a blast. It's the last day. Everyone's kind of, tired on their last leg, but we're getting through it. And I'm very happy to be here with the guys behind Mariachi. We've got Chris Sanchez and John Marroquin. How is your weekend going, guys?
Good fun weekend. A lot of people, a lot of good responses. So yeah, it's a good weekend.
Great.
So Philly's a cool city, cool people. Like you said, a lot of really cool response in our panel yesterday. It's awesome.
Have you guys taken in any good food places while you've been out here?
The marketplace, man.
The marketplace across the street. Yeah, that was
It's legit.
I heard about that from Dirk, actually. Dirk Manning?
Oh yeah.
There's one in Cleveland, and the first time he suggested, I'm like, yeah, no, that sounds stupid. He's like, just go, and I'm like, this is amazing.
So the last time we spoke, John, you and I spoke, Mariachi had just come out. I think the second issue may have.
Just the first one.
Oh, just the first one. So what have you guys been up to since then? You've got the second issue. What else is cooking?
This year we've been focusing on touring around with both books, so hitting different markets. This is our third Wizard show of the year, just Wizard. So we've done other C2E2, a bunch of other shows, but we're just trying to get people aware of the book. That's why we're only doing 2 floppies. And we're working on the rest of the book now. And February, Valentine's Day, is our date for the whole graphic novel, which is 6 issues to come out.
Really?
Yeah.
The whole shebang's coming out all at once. So
Our Kickstarter was going to start February 14th.
That's huge, February 14th. Remember the date, save the date, Kickstarter for Mariachi. It's a good book. If you haven't actually had the chance to pick it up, I'm going to pick up the second issue here after we're done. If you haven't had the chance to check it out, you really should do that. So I spoke to Dirk earlier, and he told me that he sent you guys the script for the third issue fairly recently. Can you tell us what we can expect? I mean, spoilers if you please, but can you just give us like a tease of what we can expect?
it's wild. Like I said, I kind of co-created most of it anyways, but what Dirk did with it is completely off what I expected. When you're reading it, you don't know if it's present tense, past tense, if it's happening, if it's not happening. It's this weird, trippy feeling. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's definitely, the two worlds are really starting to bleed together, and you kind of don't know where you're at. But it's great because it's different from the first 2 issues. Every issue is pretty much different, and that's a great thing. And this one took, more of I say a slightly darker tone, but it's awesome. It's awesome, and I like the fluctuation with the moods that's going through the book. So right when you think you got the book, okay, I see what's going on with it, you're like, oh, wait a minute, this is awesome. So yeah, he did a great
also
job.
follows that journey further into like his version of hell.
Right.
So it's like it's starting to get more just weird and surreal, and you can see that not only reflected in like the story content, but just like just stuff that's going on in the background. It's just a much more surreal feeling.
That sounds really, really cool. And I really loved the marriage of your guys' art with Dirk's storytelling in the first issue. How did you guys determine that he was the one to sort of write this story?
It's a funny story. We actually interviewed I think three or four different writers. One guy wrote a treatment. We liked it, but it wasn't bad. It just wasn't the right fit.
Right.
And we went to Dirk for advice actually, and said, hey, we're kind of shopping this around. We want to just have to take it seriously, have a writer actually do it, because John and I don't know what we're doing when it comes to writing stuff. Ideas is about as far as we can go.
We were good friends with him already, so.
Right.
But yeah, we asked for his advice of what we should look for and ask for in a professional writer, and he goes, why wouldn't you ask me to do it? And we're like, seriously? And he wrote the first issue, and I absolutely fell in love with it. It's amazing.
Yeah, it really is phenomenal, and I'm glad that you guys are getting something out there that's created by Hispanic creators, and it speaks to me as a Hispanic person, but also as a fan of horror, and it hits every button.
Yeah. It's not made for just one person. I mean,
Right.
Just because it has Hispanic themes in it, it's not for Hispanics, it's for everyone.
Yeah.
But we do like to throw our own culture into the book, because like we do panels, and the panel yesterday we were talking to people about how even what we're doing now, maybe it might not be a hit, but it's going to influence some little kid, some Hispanic little kid who sees this and is like, I can do comics too, and he might be the next big thing. So it goes in a big circle, and we like to do it just for everyone, not just for ourselves, so that it influences a bigger diversity of creative people in the field.
Yeah, and I wanted to talk to you guys about that panel because I think that things like that are extremely important in the industry, and what you just said is exactly on point. And so what is some of the reception that you guys get when you come to these shows and you do panels like this and you have these booths? Do people come up to you and sort of express like, hey, I'm glad you guys are doing this? What's the reaction?
Yeah, especially C2E2, there's a big Hispanic community there, and we've been Artist Alley, 4 years in a row? I think this year was our 4th year. And every year it's the same thing. It's people coming up and thanking us for putting something like this out there. And that feels good.
Yeah, that's the craziest, most humbling thing is that people come up and say, thank you for making a book that isn't like overtly Hispanic, quote unquote, that it's about characters that happen to be Hispanic that share like the same things that we did, we love, and just those kind of ideals. That's super humbling, man. It's awesome.
Yeah. One of the things for me as a reader is, and I think a lot of minorities can speak to this, is that sometimes you read books or you see entertainment that feels like it's catered to us, but it's tone deaf. And that's something that I've seen in comics, and you guys really avoided that.
Trying too hard or
Right.
Something like that, yeah.
You guys completely avoided that, and it's important to have creators like you out there. Honestly, it is. Do you think that it's difficult for minority creators to break into the industry, more difficult than it is for someone else?
Well, we were talking about this yesterday too, and I don't know about breaking in, but we've done shows where we feel like we get passed by, and I don't think it's what I think it is some people think this is a Hispanic book. I'm not Hispanic, so but one good thing is Dirk Manning's not Hispanic,
Right.
and he wrote it. So of course his fan base gets issue 1, and they come to us to buy issue 2, and they're not Hispanic, So that goes to show you it's not a Hispanic book. It's for everyone. But we do feel sometimes that we're getting kind of, but it's one of those things. I mean, you just kind of keep on until somebody actually decides to pick it up, try it, read it, and go, oh, okay, it's not really what I thought. And it's probably the same thing for black creators. You go by a black creators table, and if it's black characters on the table, you probably feel like, oh, this doesn't pertain to me. But they're all interesting stories that everybody should read about. It's just like we've never been to space, but we buy space stories. So why not buy a black comic that gives you an experience of black people that you didn't know about before? Why not?
I mean, as far as like creators go, I don't think it's harder to break into the industry just because you're a minority. I think it's more so the content of your stuff. Like, your work will speak for itself no matter what. If it's good work, it's going to get out there, whether you're a writer or an artist or an inker. But it's more so like the content, like with our little book, like about not, like John said, of it just being more about inclusion. It's not a book for Hispanics. It just has to be about, Hispanic characters.
Right.
We grew up reading. We still do. I still get my comic book. We read Batman, Superman, Spider-Man. They're all white characters, but you know what? The stories pertain to everyone, and that's what our book is. So I mean, it's just opening people's minds up to that way of thinking where just try it. It's not, and I think once people start getting in that groove, it'll change. But yeah, we're not trying to get into Marvel or DC, so we don't know that aspect of it. We're just trying to push our book. So,
I really respect that. Do you guys have anything else planned alongside Mariachi, or maybe after the fact? Is there anything you can tease us with a little bit?
Yeah, actually, we both have our own books. My book is called Mexica, which has already been written for a couple years. I had to put it on the back burner to finish this book. It's written by Casey Pierce, who does a book called Nora for Source Point Press. I don't know if you ever met those guys. They're a local Michigan company. They're doing a lot of big things. But she wrote my book, or our book, about 2 years ago now. So that's getting done this year along with the rest of Mariachi. So, and then Chris, they'll all be coming out next year, but Chris has his own book too. I write and draw a book called Quick Draw. It's takes place on the border of Mexico. You have 2 Hispanic leads, a female and a male. The female is like the legit badass of the two, and the dude's a big dude, but he follows her lead because
he knows that she knows what's going on. But it kind of goes across the border of Mexico. So it takes place a little bit Mexico, a little bit Texas, but about like 1850s. So it's kind of steampunk westernist, but without being like all monocles and little tiny hats. It's no Will Smith. No giant mechanical spiders.
That sounds really cool. And is that available now?
No, like I did a little treatment of it a little while ago, but like, so I'm writing and drawing it now as we speak. So
next year we'll be out hard with Mariachi, Mashika, and then Quick Draw. So we'll have all 3 books on our table. So
2018 pretty hard. It's good. We're coming legit with 3 graphic novels.
Scaling back on our cons this year so we can just go full ahead with our.
That's awesome. And I can't wait until the next time that we get to do this so that we can talk about those new titles.
Absolutely.
Really exciting. So that's our time here. Thank you guys so much for joining us. I really appreciate your time. Again, we are at Wizard World Philadelphia. We've got tons of content that we're putting out on YouTube, so check that out. Social media, we are all over the place at the Comics Pals, wherever social media is sold, so check that out. I'm Sean Bartley. Thanks for watching. Take care, guys.